Hello and welcome to another Tech Tuesday. Tech Tuesday, for those who don't know, is where I look at a random piece of technology, not necessarily connected to RC or FPV, but something that's interesting to me and I think is worth sharing. Today I have the Divoom Pixoo 64. Basically it's a 10.3 inch screen which has a 64 by 64 grid of these LED lamp bulbs, I think they call them. And the idea is you have sort of very pixelated graphics going on and doing stuff, and you can have stuff like counters on things or countdowns or little animated type GIFs, that sort of thing. I think I've seen these in the background of many a YouTuber who's got the sort of YouTube count in there, and I've always wondered what they were. I wondered if it was like a self-made thing, but odds on it's this sort of thing. Kudos as well to them for sending this in a box that's not just plain, it has their logo on it and stuff. So let's get this out of the box and see what it contains. Doesn't really need a close-up because it's fairly big. Nicely packaged with foam inserts there, and it's a nice piece of packaging. I don't know why I appreciate packaging that much, I just do. So in here you've got this, and if we slide it out, we've got the main screen. Let's open this up. This is the size of it. What we've got is, looks like mounting holes for tripod type things on the sides and there. And if we turn it around, we've got sort of regular things to hang on the wall and there, and we've got a USB-C just underneath there. Elsewhere in the box we have these instructions, some silica gel not to eat, and this little box of stuff here, which contains a nice long USB-A to USB-C cable and a European plug adapter, which is not much use to me. And this is a 5V 2 amp. I think you need at least 2 amps to power this. And there is a little bag which contains a couple of these mounting screws for, I guess, mounting it a different way. And I believe most of it is controlled through their own app, but I'm gonna go through the instructions, plug this guy in and see how it all works. Okay, we've got our Pixoo out. We have gone ahead and at the back here you see we've got our USB connection. Also on the sides, which I missed, we've got this power and brightness display here. And I had a look at the manual, and it's very short and succinct. The English version lasts these 2 whole pages, and it's mostly about connect to the app, then do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and power this up first, and you will see it comes on, say, waiting to configure. However, I have sneakily switched this on before, and what I notice is if you press the button on the side, it will go through a basic attract mode, so you can get loads of interesting pixel things just going through, and really shows you what this thing is capable of. And already I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is lots of cool little pixel effects that will look nice in the background. And if I press it again, it goes into graphic equalizer mode, so you'll see as I'm speaking or clicking or whatever, that works. And then we get test card and sort of off, and then back to the attract mode again. So we'll just go back to this page, and you'll see I've already got the Divoom app, and if we go in there, what we should do is say add device. Hopefully it's going to find it. Start painting pixel art. I don't really want to do that, I want to add the device. And then once you try and pair something, it says please log in. So yep, you're going to have to create yourself an account to actually do this. Okay, so I've gone ahead and registered, and we've got a Pixoo 64 here, which we obviously want to connect to, and now we have to connect it to the Wi-Fi, and I'm going to guess it's going to ask me to put my Wi-Fi details in. Okay, we've got connecting, and we've got this. Interesting bit about this, it says it only connects to 2.4 Wi-Fi, not 5.8. I feel most routers are both 2.4 and 5.8 there, so we're okay there. Okay, we're connected. And we've got a firmware update and a bug fix, I guess, so let's go ahead and do that. I like these animations to tell you you're doing stuff. I guess that was a reboot. Okay, I think it's done. And the first thing the app's gone to is add a clock, so I guess we can add a clock. Now, what's the clock gallery look like? There are many clocks. It says clock gallery, but it's more like this is generic pixel art, that's the clock, and then we've got the YouTube subscribers sort of thing, and stuff like Bitcoin prices and gubbins like that. Let's try adding a subscriber thing, because that's kind of cool. Okay, so I've got it to find my channel. curry kitten there, view count, subscribe count. So if we tick the click, we have got, it's thinking about it, subscribers 26,800 and view count. That time's not correct. It is 11:38. I'm sure I set it to automatic time zone, but let's, fortunately you can go in and edit these things. So go do that. Zone. Time zone's auto, so let's change that to manual selection. We're not in America. Guess I'm universal time plus 0. Doing the change. 10:39. I guess it doesn't understand British summertime from that. Hold on, let's change that again. That's more like it. I like that, that's pretty cool. Okay, so now if we look at the main app thing, we've got a very obvious one about doing the brightness, which you can go right down or all the way back up. We've then got a bunch of things for device functions, so you can do your own Pixel things in here. Music. This is the gallery. Oh no, that is the clocks. This is the gallery of general animations, which are the recommended ones. So if I just do that and I say, what do I do? Download it. Just a little bit of a pain that it doesn't actually explain any of these symbols, except the fact that when I went on there without pressing the button, it did something. Oh, look at that. As you go through the gallery, it puts them on your screen now. So what happens here? Custom one. Does that custom one? Does that mean it's there? Don't know. Let's find out. So again, that's my YouTube sign. That's the randomized thing. And that's Mario. So I guess you get 3 custom slots. We can easily try that by getting something else. So let's have a look at this one. How it looks. Loads of things in here. These are, I guess, mostly community made. Oh, that just went weird, didn't it? Oh, it just rebooted on that one. It was not happy. I'm just going through various bits at the bottom of this. This is scoreboard. We've got chat, which is just like chat to people. Stopwatch, which I guess we can just watch on it. Countdown meter. So if we say let's count down a whole minute, go. Just random things. Basically, everything is very quickly to do through the app, so you kind of have to have your app there at all times. Pixel colouring game. Oh, I see. So it's basically a colouring book. So select colour 4. So you can see the pixels being filled in here. Not very well actually, because that's black. So let me find a colour that you can actually see. Like number 12, it's that one and that one. 5 is a nice blue. And we can fill it in. Oh, well, the countdown finished. I forgot about that. Anyway, let's exit that. Lots of little games to play there. Animation, so we can make our own animation basically. Have a go at that in a second. And design, where I guess we sort of do our own design. Ta-da! So yeah, you can design your own stuff, you can design your own animations. So might try one of those now. Well, I thought the design tools would be fairly simplistic, and you'd have to sort of, restrict it to things like 64 by 64 resolution. But basically, I just found this picture button here where you can add from your camera roll, and had a bit of a video that I was doing for some FPV stuff, and it's basically captured about 100 frames of this. And look, it's me on Pixel. I'm pixelated. So just for fun, I went ahead and rendered out my logo spinning, and we get this, which surprisingly does shrink down to a 64-bit pixel range quite nicely. Aside from this one not being a particularly good animation, because it's black and white, there's no colour in it, I also found a bit of a weirdness here where I couldn't actually add this to one of my custom spots. I can only add a custom spot by going into one of these guys, and then I can press that button and it will ask me where I want to put it. which I think is a bit weird, but did find some other pretty cool stuff. I found out when you're talking about like the clocks, you've got a whole load of different ones, and they're not just clocks. For example, we've got the local weather forecast, we've got our different visualizer, we've got the aforementioned YouTube clock, and we've got things for Twitch and Twitter and stuff like that. And I found this cool one, which is just called Hot. And what it does, using its Wi-Fi connection, it goes and gets all the latest hot or hot rated animations from the community, and then it can play them. And we've got another one in here that can basically play each clock for a certain amount of time and then sort of cycle through them. So instead of just having one up, you can cycle all through them. So you get the weather, I suppose visualizer I wouldn't particularly want, YouTube and your hot clips, everything like that you want. And I do love the way it's so quick. You just have to like go on to a new picture and it's like, yep, it's done. It's super quick. Some really freakily psychedelic things here. But this is just wonderful pixel art as well from the community. It looks like a really good scene. And of course, as before, you can just cycle through things. Here's my hot collection. Here's my equalizer. Here's one of my custom spots. I don't know why I've got this one. And my YouTube cat. If there was something I'd like here, it's a little bit more information about things in the manual. For example, behind here, you probably wouldn't think of anything of it, but this thing here, if we do that, is something that then fits in here, like so, and then we have a stand for it. Now, as I mentioned, these do fit tripods, but it also fit these. So if you wanted to, for example, put two of these on and hang it up that way, you can do it. And if you're worried about the thing being upside down, if we go into the device settings, there is a rotate display option here, where, for example, we can go 180 degrees. And then it would be, well, the right way up if you were hanging it down this way. Obviously, it's not the right way up for me, so let's change it back again. What a cool little device this is. You'll see it in the corner there where it's going to live. And I've put it on the rotating through the thing. So I've got my weather report, I've got my YouTube stuff that's just come up, and then I have like a minute of the recommended good animations. Certainly not something everybody needs, but it's a really cool little gadget to have. I really love it. I'm of an age when that's what graphics were. They were pixels, and you were lucky to get an 8x8 pixel image rather than 64x64, making a bit of a comeback where older games are mixing pixel images with like modern visuals, which is an interesting thing, and people are still there producing great art. And what this thing really does have is a really good and active community churning out really lovely pixel art. And that's why I'm so glad this thing's got a Wi-Fi connection, because it's not like I have to think about, oh, which animations do I want, and put them together and have like a playlist. I can just say, get me the good ones every day. If you wanted to, because there was only those 3 custom slots for like 3 animations. There's another clock, they call them clocks really, because you can display the time, but basically you can say, put all my favourite animations basically in a playlist and play that. So there's lots of different ways of playing different things, which I think is quite neat. And it's always nice to have the YouTube stats there. Unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, YouTube about a year or 2 ago changed the data they would give out. So anybody that comes in and says, what's your subscriber number, it rounds it up to like 100 when you're at a certain level. And if you're like, you know, really in the millions, it probably rounds up to the nearest 100,000, because YouTube don't want to count subscribers. They don't think that's important. They think watch time is more important. But it's always nice to see if your numbers go up. If you're worried about leaving this on all the time, then you've got 2 options. I've gone with the option of having a certain time between midnight and 6 AM where the brightness goes to nothing, essentially shutting the screen down, and you've got another option to say power it down. But if you do that, it means you have to manually power it back on again. Anyway, this lovely little gadget has been the Divoom Pixoo 64, and of course there'll be links down below if you want to check it out. As I said, not something for everybody, but if there's a man in your life around the same age as me and he's a bit of a nerd, then he'll love something like this, let me tell you. Father's Day, birthday, Christmas present, that sort of thing. Anyway, hope that Tech Review Tuesday's been helpful and or interesting, and I will catch you next one. Bye for now.
Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.